Yo, Sean Payton is playing this perfectly. Let me get out while they're getting this good. Let me quit before they fire me. Let me get out while this salary cap situation is awful. Preserve my record, and now I'll do the Bill Cowher, John Gruden thing where when I go to TV, even though I'm a great coach, I'm even better. Like, it takes separation to bring appreciation, and now I'm coveted and I got my pick of jobs around the league. So our resident Cowboys fanatic, Ashley Nicole Moss, says, expert and fanatic, since Sean Payton is taking back channel calls, have you called on behalf of your Dallas Cowboys yet? Because I'm going to assume that you would love to see them upgrade. We haven't seen you since the meltdown against San Francisco. I'm going to assume that you would like to see Sean Payton come back to Dallas.
I cannot confirm nor deny if I made any phone calls on behalf of the Dallas Cowboys. That I'm not at liberty to say. But what I can say is I look forward to seeing Sean Payton as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
That is what I can
Well done. Well played. Well played.
No, wait. Now, hold on, Ashley. Are you going to suggest that coaching is the reason the Dallas Cowboys did not advance?
It's one of the reasons. Yeah, it's one of the reasons. Obviously, you can't ignore the meltdown of the offense. You can't take blame off of Dak Prescott. He is the quarterback. He makes the big bucks for a reason, and he didn't handle what he should have handled. But I think you also just have to look at it from a offensive standpoint as a whole. Head coach Mike McCartney has not been good in game management and time management. And also, I think Kellen Moore, was the offensive coordinator whisperer, if you will, when he had a different type of quarterback in Dak Prescott. And what I mean by that is injuries change you as a quarterback. I think when you go through an injury as gruesome as what Dak went through, it changes the way you play the game, and you can see it. He's, not as quick to run out of the pocket. He'd rather throw the ball away or throw it into traffic than risk running out and getting hurt. And that's a mental thing. And you can't really blame, a quarterback for kind of moving differently after something that severe. You want to help your team win, but you also want to go ahead and preserve your career as a quarterback and be able to play for a very long time. And I think Dak Prescott can do that. I don't see any reason why he can't play until, his mid-30s or beyond. But in order to do that, you have to change the way you play the game. So I think Kellen Moore's offensive scheme is more geared to the quarterback pre-injury, so Dak pre-injury, than it is who Dak is now. And I think that was one of the biggest things that worked against the Cowboys was the offensive scheme didn't change to who your quarterback is at this moment in time.
That's good stuff. What do you think about Dan Quinn pulling himself out of other head coaching vacancies?
Praise the football God. That's all I got to say. Because I was on the verge of having a nervous breakdown. I'll tell you that right now. Listen, defense has always been the bane of Cowboys fans' existence. I don't think there's been a time that we've had a defense this good in a very long time. So to finally have somebody who understands the defense and who can go ahead and just bring them in as a group and can execute and be creative in so many different ways was a godsend for Cowboys fans. To say that defense was not the issue this season is something that Cowboys fans are not used to ever saying. And the thought of losing that, I tweeted out a few times, Jerry, pay that man head coach money if it means keeping him in Dallas. Do not let this man walk. And, he was close. Denver wanted him. Chicago wanted him. But ultimately, he's staying in the Big D. And I know that Cowboys fans everywhere are really happy because what the defense did this year was special. And if Dan Quinn can just mimic that or even capitalize more on that, it's going to be a really, really great defense for many years to come.
All right, what do they need to do? I need you to play general manager, owner of the Dallas Cowboys, and you look at you find yourself in this position again. Thought you could go to the Super Bowl. You look at the competition in the NFC. The 49ers are in the NFC Championship game. You look at them. I know they beat you, but God, are they that much better than us? Really? Are the Rams that much better than us? How do the Dallas Cowboys get to the championship game next year and ultimately to the Super Bowl? What do they need
One
to do?
is if you're not going to go ahead and fire Kellen Moore, then his offensive scheme has to change. It has to be, adhere to who Dak Prescott is currently. Also, you got to stop forcing Zeke to be, running back number one. He's not anymore. He's still a beast, but he's more of a battering ram, right? He's good to drive down the middle. He's good to go ahead and break through, the defensive line when he has a nice hole, but you can't really utilize him in ways that you could when he was younger. That's Pollard's job now. Zeke's not fast like he was. He's not elusive like he was. It doesn't mean you can't utilize him, but you got to adjust the way you're doing it. I think also you got to look into getting a healthier offensive line. A lot of those guys are much older than when Dak Prescott first started. And you also lost pieces. Frederick retiring was a huge thing for the Dallas Cowboys. I think defensively, just kind of capitalize off of what you did this season or this previous season when you go into next season. And then Mike McCartney, look, he's not going to be here much longer, but he's going to be here for the next season. So he has to go ahead and just be better in managing the game. I think a lot of these games have come down to him simply getting out coached in one way or another. And, in a division that's as crazy as the NFC East is, you can't go ahead and just give up games that you should go ahead and have in your back pocket that should be quote unquote easy wins. And a lot of the times it came down to just bad coaching and bad game management.
Yeah, I said the other day that Mike McCarthy, damned if Jerry does, damned if he doesn't, because, Sean Payton lingering out there, just lording over the whole thing, kind of like this, hovering over it. So he's basically, a lame duck coach for all intents and purposes next year, absent a Super Bowl. Yeah, honestly, actually, where are my manners? Where are my manners? You all right, Ashley? How you doing? No, because I mean, that must have been hard. We ain't even talking.
What sport are you referring to? Are you asking me if I'm okay in the football world or the basketball world?
It's a great question.
I got a lot going on.
Hey, listen, I didn't choose for some reason, you've chosen this life. You've chosen this pain.
It chose me.
That's true. I'm going back to the wild card game. We haven't seen you in a long time, and that was like, it still feels. I imagine it still feels fresh, and I just want you to know that we're here for you.
Luckily for me, I was in Antigua when that game happened, so I was on vacation. Oh. It kind of ruined a couple hours of it, but then a couple mojitos later, and it all felt better.
That's a nice flex on your part. That's a great flex on your part. So you were on vacation, so it was only fitting that your Cowboys joined you shortly thereafter on vacation.
Yeah, except
you were in Antigua, they went to Cabo.
They went to Cancun, right? I was in Antigua, they were in Mexico, so.
Okay, but you're okay though. You bounced back. You kept it moving. Just checking because it's real hard. Cowboys fans, it's hard for everybody else when they winning. It's hard for y'all when y'all lose. Like I get it. I know people been coming at you next since then, but I'm glad you know you're okay.
I think it's even harder because it's a team that looked really, really good. Like, you could be a Cowboy hater. You could make jokes about the Cowboys, but nobody can deny that this team looked really, really good. I feel like this was probably the most functional Cowboys team that I've seen from top to bottom since the Tony Romo era. Yeah. Like there was a lot of things. Yeah, the offense was a little bit slow in the beginning or towards the middle of the season. They got it back at the end. In the beginning, they looked really good. The defense clicked. I mean, coaching seemed to be, functional. There wasn't any drama. There was drama with every other team in the NFL. The Cowboys were good. It didn't touch them and just could not get the job done. So that's what also makes it just really disappointing.
So pivoting to your other dysfunctional professional sports relationship, the New York Knicks. You were at the game last night. You were at Knicks Heat last night, and you used to cover the Heat. So I mean, maybe I don't know if you had some torn allegiances there. If you were kind of happy to see the first place Heat get another win, or you were more upset about the 11th place Knicks. So what y'all gonna do? Ashley? The trade deadline, clock's ticking. What we doing here?
It's a weird conundrum. First, I wasn't happy to see the Heat win. When they stopped paying me, I stopped caring. So it's one of those situations. My allegiance is now fully back with my New York Knicks. But listen, it's a weird situation the Knicks are in, right? Because the pieces that you can move to make a big move, you don't want to utilize them too soon, because in the business of basketball, you make a trade, you can't say, oh, something else better has come along, let me take my players back, and you can't do that. So once you make a move, you're stuck with it. So I think that what you'll see the Knicks do is make small moves by the trade deadline, maybe get a veteran point guard and move, some small pieces. I don't think you're going to see Evan Fournier be moved. I don't think you're going to see Julius Randle be moved. If that does happen, it's going to be down the line where the market is a lot more clear. There's less fog, and you know who's available and who's not. And more importantly, you know what's going to take to get who's available. And it's going to be whether or not you're willing to give up that price tag. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to go back to the Carmelo Anthony days where you got a really great player in Melo. I mean, those were the glory days of the Knicks. And then for 8 years, it was quiet. So you don't want to go ahead and get back into that situation and trade your entire foundation away for one guy, but you also have to make some moves to make this team better. But it's about making the smart move. It's not necessarily about making the quickest move.
I like it.
All right, my last question for you, Ashley. Look, you're a New Yorker. We know that. You know the city. You know the Knicks. And so this is advice for not just Julius Randle, but advice for any professional athlete in New York who is in his or her feelings about the media and the fans. You've been too critical of me. What's going on? Y'all, I know what I'm doing. What advice would you give these folks coming into New York? They clearly don't get it. How can you help them understand New York and the media business there?
You just got to develop what we call in New York. You just got to get gully. At the end of the day, it's just, you can't say nothing to me that I haven't already heard. So what you say doesn't matter. That's that kind of mentality. And you're human at the end of the day. And I don't want to speculate, and none of us should speculate on what actually is going on with Julius Randle, because it could be deeper than just the New York media. It could be deeper than just the fan base and everything around it. But if it is, rooted in that, at the end of the day, look, New Yorkers, Knicks fans especially, are extremely passionate, but they're also extremely emotional. And it's never personal. It comes from a place of love. The delivery is a little and the delivery can make you want to choke somebody. But at the end of the day, it comes from a place of love, at least from the fan base. The media, the New York media, can be a little bit rough, a little bit harsh, or a lot harsh, very unforgiving. But at least, when you step into that garden, the boos, the cheers, they all come from the same place. And that's a place of love. But listen, one of the things I love about being a New Yorker, and shout out to my parents for making sure they had me in the greatest city in the world, you can't tell me nothing, because I walk around with the type of mentality I'm that chick, I'm that girl, and you can't tell me otherwise. And I think Julius needs to adapt that mentality and remember who he was last season and just tap into that, because obviously the type of play that we saw last season, it's in you. You got to tap into that mentality again, and you can't let everything around you kind of dictate how you move and how you play, because they're not you. They're never going to be you. And if they could be you, they'd be on the court, but they're not. So that's how I see it.
Ashley Nicole Moss, I'm that chick, I'm that girl, you can't tell me nothing, and we're not one to argue with you. We love you, Ashley. We appreciate you getting certified buckets with us.
Those are bars. Those some bars, man.
That's a mic drop moment. I ain't asking no question after that.
Can you flow?
Look.
Can you spit, Ashley? Come on,
we'll do that next show. You give me a beat, I can spit a couple bars or two.
Okay. All right,
hey, that was
there
good
it
enough
is.
right there.
All right.
That was a word.
We're ready.
Ashley,
Absolutely.
keep up
Thank
the great
you,
work.
Ashley.
Sports Illustrated Certified
Bye,
Buckets.
guys.
All over the place. Thanks for blessing us. We appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.